right, here we go. In the first fight of the night, we got Amir Albazi versus Izalgas Zumagulov. Zumagulov is number 18th in the world, and Albazi is number 16th in the world. Albazi's UFC debut was against Malcolm Gordon. He won by first round triangle.
He hasn't shown us much in the UFC.
Yeah, Malcolm Gordon's junk. So, and Zumagulov, his debut was against Pavia, who he lost a unanimous decision to, who is now 2-2 in the UFC. What do you got?
He's pretty decent with his record. I mean, he's shown some brilliance in the UFC. I think Albazi is very dangerous on the feet. He's light on the feet. He takes his time and picks his shots, his takedowns very well, intelligently, I think. And he's really creative when it hits the ground. And I think that's going to be the difference maker in this one. I think his submission game it really shines. And he's on a 2-fight submission streak, both coming in the first round.
Yeah, I have here that he has a 100% takedown defense and an 81% striking defense. So, I mean, he can control where the fight's going to go. And the only thing I can see that he has to really watch out for is Zumugulov's kicks. That's all he does is kicks.
Zumagulov he's very patient. I've seen him a lot of his fights go to a decision. He's a decision win over Tyson Nam, which they're all close fights because he waits very long, and it's hard to tell if he's patient or it's just waiting way too long to take those shots.
All right, so I'm going with Amir Albazi. You're going?
Yep, same one.
Amir Albazi. Here we go with the second fight. We got Movsar Evloev versus Nick Lentz. Nick Lentz is number 57th ranked featherweight in the world, and Evloev is the number 23rd ranked featherweight in the world. He is currently undefeated at 13-0, and Nick Lentz has lost his last two, but is 2-3 in his last 5 fights. Nick Lentz has losses to Charles Oliveira and Islam Makhachev, which is going to happen. He's
Both of those are top-notch guys.
Yeah, Evloev is undefeated, and he is 3-0 in the UFC. His last win was over Mike Grundy, where he pretty much just outclassed him.
That's true.
What do you got?
Well, I'm very high on Movsar, and in this fight especially, I think Nick Lentz is a tricky veteran. He's making his 25th walk to the octagon, and he's very well-rounded, but on the feet, he moves counter to you how his opponent moves, trying to pull you into his power shots. He also leaves his hands down while throwing kicks, which is a bad thing to have against Evloev, I think. This dude showed some big promise, and he usually goes to decision, but I think he's one of those guys waiting for a highlight, and it's going to come.
And he's jacked all the time. He's in good shape.
Oh, yeah.
Nick Lentz has a good wrestling game, too, but I don't think it's the same level as Evloev.
Yeah, I think it's the kind of the Russian-American thing right now. Russians are here to take over.
So I'm going to take Movsar Evloev.
And I think he keeps his winning streak alive.
All righty. All right, here we go. In our third fight of the night, we got Andrew Sanchez versus Makhmed Morado. Andrew Sanchez is number 27th in the world at middleweight, and Morado is number 25 in the world at middleweight. In the last 5 fights, Morado is 5-0, and Andrew Sanchez is 3-2. What do you got in this fight?
Well, both these guys are coming in off 2 highlight reel knockouts. Makhmed Morado is one of those guys backed by Team Money with Mayweather, so that's something worth considering. He doesn't put his eggs into somebody that isn't doing well. He's on a 13-fight win streak with 10 KOs in there. So it's quite the streak he's going on. And I think Andrew Sanchez is a great fighter who's in his prime right now. I saw this guy debut in the Ultimate Fighter 27 with Khalil Roundtree, who's also on this card. And he's really come to his own in these last couple fights, especially on the feet. His karate-like stance was very wide and comes at you with strikes. We've seen he can crack. Check his last fight out. And his wrestling is also... It's underrated, and I think he's going to come in and use that tool a lot in this fight.
Yeah, Morado, he likes to get pushed up against the fence. I noticed that.
Yeah, he's smart. He evades and he chooses his strikes wisely, but he is backing up a lot of the time.
Yeah, and then Morado is one of the fighters that didn't fight in 2020. He had 4 canceled bouts, and he actually has a win over DiCerico, who just knocked out Joaquin Buckley. So I mean, he's definitely
tested.
He's definitely gonna make this a good fight, but I think Andrew Sanchez can utilize leg kicks and take it to the ground if he needs to.
I think the fact that he backs up is going to be to his detriment in this one. I think Andrew Sanchez is going to cut the cage and he's going to throw some strikes and mix in a takedown or two and get it done.
Yeah, so I'm gonna go with Andrew Sanchez. You're with Andrew Sanchez.
Same here.
All right. In this fight, we got Khalil Roundtree versus Marcin Prachnio. Prachnio is number 88 in the world at light heavyweight, and Roundtree is number 24 at light heavyweight. Roundtree went to Thailand. Ever since he's been to Thailand, he's pretty improving.
Yeah, he seemed like a different guy.
His stance, you can tell he's got that Thai stance he adopted.
Real bouncy, yeah.
Prachnio has lost his 3-loss streak. He has all lost in KOs in round 1. So that's not good coming into this fight. And Roundtree has gotten knocked out by Kutalaba and Johnny Walker, but they got power.
Mm-hmm. They're both very athletic guys, imposing. They come at you, and maybe a different night it would have gone differently for him. But we've seen 2 different Khalil Roundtrees in the octagon, and so far we've only seen one Prachnio, and doesn't get much worse than his run has been so far.
That win over Eric Enders is what I think you're going to see a kind of a duplicate of in this fight.
That's what I'm saying, yeah, especially with the fact that Prachnio, he looks very stiff and he reacts very badly to feints, what I've seen so far in the UFC. And those are 2 traits that could lead to a highlight reel knockout for Roundtree. And I would put money on that one. I'm pretty confident that this is a
KO.
Yeah, like I said, we've seen 2 different versions of Roundtree. And one knocking out Gokhan Saki and his performance against Eric Anders, where he just beat the living shit out of him. If we see a guy like that, this is going to be a quick night at the office for him.
Yeah, I think if you're making a lineup or you're thinking a 50K bonus, it's going to be for Roundtree. So I'm with Roundtree, you with Roundtree?
Yeah, absolutely.
All right. All right, here we go. We got Sarah McMahon versus Juliana Pena. Pena is number 8 in the world at bantamweight, and McMahon is number 9. In the last 5, McMahon has 3 wins and 2 losses, and Pena has 3 wins and 2 losses. Pena's coming off of a loss to Jermaine by guillotine, and that's not good if you're a grappler and you're getting out-grappled by a striker.
Yeah, and she was also submitted by Valentina Shevchenko. So it's been a weird thing when she fights those elite of the elite in her weight class. She loses in what is supposed to be her strong suit, which is it's an odd thing that happened in MMA. It doesn't really add up.
And then the other side, you got McMahon at 40 years old, and she has losses to Caitlin Vera, Ronda Rousey, Amanda Nunes. She's been there with everybody.
Tate, that's a lot of experience in there. It's the tale of 2 tapes here. It's you got McMahon with loads of experience, and Penn who really needs to make a statement after that loss to Durandamine, because it was a beatdown. And Durandamine looked great in that fight. Don't get me wrong. You can't take away from her performance, but Pena did not look like a ranked fighter in the UFC, to be honest. She's really going to have to come out and show something if she's going to win this one.
This here is a fight that I'm kind of leaning right now on the side of McMahon, and this is one of those that you're going to have to go to our Facebook page and look at it Friday night before the fights, because we change maybe sometimes. I want to see the face-off, and I want to see how the weigh-ins are, see what they look like. I think that'll help out a lot. But right now, I think McMahon is just going to be the stronger grappler and kind of just lay on top of her for 3 rounds.
I think the odds agree with you, but I'm going to go the other direction here and pick who I believe will be a bigger underdog come the actual fight. And I think that Juliana Pena is going to have to come out here and prove something, and I think she might even make a statement win just to make sure she secures that roster spot.
So if you like Pena, that means probably want to bet on her early. Get that early money.
Yeah.
I mean McMahon. Sorry. Here we go. In this fight, we got Brad Tavares versus Antonio Carlos Jr. Carlos Jr. at middleweight is number 22 worldwide, and Tavares is number 17 worldwide. In the last 5, both these fighters are 2 losses and 3 wins, both of them losing their last 2 fights. In this fight here, I think Brad Tavares has... Oh, that's all right. Brad Tavares has a 77% takedown defense, and he's never been submitted, with recent losses to Edmund Shabazian and Israel Adesanya. What do you think's gonna happen?
I think that Tavares has fought the higher level competition, no doubt. He's just that guy in the UFC games who none of your friends actually know who this guy is. He's kind of in the game. It's like, is this a real fighter or not? Nobody is, and he's been up there against the greats, Izzy, and he's lasted the whole fight against him. But I think Antonio Carlos Jr.'s submission game is something you got to look at here. Brad Tavares never being submitted is a good point to bring up, but I think this may be the first. There's a first for everything, and Antonio Carlos Jr. can definitely get it done. He's been in a couple boring fights, mainly his last fight, decision loss to Uriah Hall, which shows he can strike. He's not afraid to throw hands because if it hits the mat, it's in his domain. And this guy, I just think he's going to be able to tire out Tavares, wear him down. It really matters if he can get on top and keep top control. And if he can do that, I think he's going to make it boring and come away with a submission or decision victory.
Yeah, I think this fight is going to be a boring fight either way, unless you see a submission. But if it goes to the ground, definitely Antonio's going to submit him. But I think Brad Tavares is going to be able to just kind of bounce around the mat and throw some leg kicks in there and try to stay striking and then keep it on the feet. And pretty much that's what the fight you're going to see. If he can stay conditioned and do that, I think Tavares comes away with his win. So you're on?
Yeah, we're split on this one. I'm going with Antonio Carlos Jr., the underdog.
All right. All right, here we go. We got Arman Tsarukyan versus Nasrat Haqparast. At lightweight, Haqparast is number 28 in the world, and Tsarukyan is number 20. In the last 5 fights, we have Tsarukyan with 4 wins and 1 loss. His only loss coming to Islam Makhachev, who everybody seems to lose to.
It's gonna happen. Yeah, he got out wrestled in that one, but he tried. He did the best that he could.
And Haqparast is also 4-1. With his loss to Drew Dober, where he got clipped.
It's always going to happen,
Yeah.
when you, especially with the kind of guy like Haqparast is.
Tsarukyan has his win over Davi Ramos, and Haqparast has wins over Mark Dasugi and Alex Munoz. What do you think is going to happen in this fight?
Well, I think Tsarukyan has a very wide stance. He bounces back and forth with lots of kicks. He throws a nice right hand over the top into a blast double. We've seen a lot of his takedowns, and I don't know if it was just the Islam Makhachev fight, but his top control might be something to worry about. He had a lot of takedowns in a lot of fights I've seen where he just isn't able to keep the dude down, and that might be a problem against Haqparast. Haqparast is dangerous striking, and he tries to pull you into a dangerous left hand that he has, and when he hits you, he smells blood in the water, and he goes to the finish.
Yeah, I think that Haqparast has good hands for sure, and he has an 80% takedown defense. But I think that Arman just does everything so well and mixing it together in MMA with the wrestling and the striking. And he's in good shape all the time as well. He's just another one of these guys that comes in here set to kill. I just like the way he mixes everything together, and Haqparast doesn't really have the same mixture. I think Tsarukyan is going to win this fight.
Yeah, I'm going to have to agree with you on this one. I think that Haqparast can be tempted into a firefight and clipped like we saw against Drew Dober. And I like what you said about the overall combination of mixed martial arts here from Arman. I think he can get it done, and the combinations of striking into takedowns against the fence especially is going to be the difference in this one.
Yeah, and conditioning might play a factor too.
Yeah, we'll see if Haqparast can wrestle for 15 minutes.
All right, so we're both on Tsarukyan. Here we have Marina Rodriguez versus Amanda Rebus. Rebus is number 26 in the flyweight division worldwide, and Rodriguez is number 9 in the strawweight division worldwide. This is at strawweight, I believe, yes.
Yeah, I think so.
Rebus is 10-1. All her wins 5 in a row at the last 5. And Rodriguez has a loss, a draw, 2 draws actually, and 2 wins. Rodriguez is a plus 240 underdog, and Rebus was on record, I think, saying that she wanted to do something spectacular on the McGregor card. I think she said that in her interview. So, what do you think you're going to see out of these two in this fight?
Yeah, lots of these athletes on the card with McGregor will say the same. They know it's a platform for them to grow their name as well. And I think this fight is a lot closer than the odds dictate here. I think Rodriguez, coming off her first pro loss, she's very tall, imposing Muay Thai fighter, right? Slouched over, elbows in, kind of Muay Thai style. And striking, when it comes to striking, she can go against the best. And I think we're going to see a little bit, at least at the beginning of this fight. But I do think the odds should be much closer in this one. Amanda Rebus is a very is not, I wouldn't say overhyped because you can't say that yet, but she has a lot of attention to a lot of UFC fans, and it hasn't honestly been earned in my opinion. So we're gonna see in this fight if it works out. I think that Rodriguez is a dangerous underdog, and I think she could be someone to look out for. But I do believe that her weaknesses are Amanda Rebus' strengths, so I think that's where she's gonna get it done, and I am gonna take Rebus in this one.
Yeah, Rebus is good everywhere. She's not as good as Rodriguez, I would say, on the feet, but she's good enough.
Good enough, yeah, to take her to the ground. I think Rodriguez's takedown defense is very suspect.
The thing to say about Rodriguez, she has been winning over Tisha Torres, and you see what she's doing now recently. But, yeah, I think Rodriguez's takedown defense is like 62% or something like that, which isn't very good.
Yeah.
And Rebus, I think, is going to take this one as well, maybe even finish it with a submission.
It's going to be a good fight. I think it's much closer, again, than the odds dictate, but we're going to see what happens.
Here we go. In this fight, we have Ottman Azetar versus Matt Fervola. The Steamroller versus the Bulldozer. Fervola's got in his last 5, he has 3 wins, a draw, and a loss, and he's the slight underdog. And Azetar is undefeated currently at 13-0. This guy has some crazy hands. What do you think is going to happen in this fight?
Azetar is a hot prospect. He is coming in here, and he's very patient. He uses feints and slips to take advantage of the distance and really nail where you have no opportunity to block yourself. He's only been decisioned once in those 13 victories, and I think he has something like 10 knockouts to his name. This guy is dangerous, and we've seen Fervola in there against Luis Pena most recently. And he's a tough dude. He's 8 shots in a lot of his fights, and he's definitely willing to get into a slug fight. We haven't seen Ottman's ground game as of late, or to the level of competition I'd like. And I think Fervola might be the guy to put that test on him.
Yeah, Fervola's definitely got some good wrestling. He has a win over Jalen Turner, who's Pena. Pena is pretty tricky on the ground. I just don't know if he's going to be able to get the fight to the ground, and if he can take a punch from Azetar, to be honest with you. I think that he could make it kind of a tricky fight, but we don't really know where Ottman's at. He's undefeated, but he hasn't really beaten anybody in the UFC good. He's beaten Karma Worthy, but
yeah,
you don't know where he's at.
Yeah, I agree.
So I'll take Ottman in this one, but I'm not saying that he's going to be easy.
I like the matchmaking here, and I think Fervola is going to be a good test all around. I think the ego is going to get the best of him. I think he's going to put his chin out there and try to prove he's a better striker, and I think that is going to be to his detriment in this fight. I'm going to take Azetar by finish.
All right. All right, in this fight, we got Joanne Calderwood versus Jessica Eye. Jessica Eye is number 8 in the flyweight division, and Calderwood is number 7 in the flyweight division. I guess at featherweight. In the last 5, they're both 3 wins and 2 losses, and this is pretty much on the Vegas odds and near even. Calderwood took a risk. She was the number 1 contender, and she lost to Mount Maya by submission.
Yeah.
So she's got Jessica Eye now here in front of her. What do you think is going to happen in this one?
I think the odds got this one right. I think this is a straight-up toss-up. I think both are at similar points in their career. They're both good, very good all around, but Jessica Eye, mainly what I'm going to say about her, she's good at everything, but she's not really great at anything. If you've seen any of her press conferences, they're pretty cringeworthy. She just, I don't know, there's not much likability to this person. And Calderwood, on the other hand, she's got good low kicks and front kicks. She keeps distance well. Jessica Eye, she can take some damage. She comes at you. She'll keep coming at you, but she leaves herself open for big shots. I think Calderwood's going to have the better of the striking exchanges, maybe even cut off the cage and control the octagon, maybe win that way by decision, but I wouldn't put any money on this one.
Yeah, I don't think you're going to see a finish at all in this one, but I think Jessica Eye might make Calderwood look good. I think Calderwood might be able to just outstrike her. I think you might see maybe her outstrike her by 20 punches. Kicks thrown in there. I think she has better opportunities of working everything on the body, head, body, legs. I think she just takes it from the judges in the decision, but I don't really have faith in I. So I'm going with Calderwood as well.
If you're looking for a smoke break during the card, this is it.
Yeah. All right, here we go. We got Dan the Hangman Hooker versus Michael Chandler in our co-main event of the night. Lightweight battle. We have Dan Hooker at number 5, and Michael Chandler is ranked currently right now at number 18th, but they're throwing him in there to the Wolves. Yeah. You don't know where you're going to rank him at yet. So, what do you think you can see out of this fight?
It's been a long, weird journey for MMA fans to see Michael Chandler finally step in the octagon. If Bellator has the Hall of Fame, I'm not aware if they do or not. I'm not hating on him or anything, but if they do, this guy's in it. We've seen different versions of him, but he comes out very aggressively with his striking, and this guy is in tremendous shape in all his fights usually. And he comes in, he has power, he likes to set it up, but he also really likes to tire guys out with his wrestling and wear them down against the fence and really look for that submission in the transition from the feet to the ground. Where do you think Hooker's keys to victory lie in this one?
I think Hooker, because he has the same thing that the UFC is. They don't really know where they're going to rank him at. So he's got to try to figure out the Michael Chandler puzzle as well as he's on the fly. But the thing is, he is a really good striker. And
yeah, that can't be doubted.
He has a dangerous knee, and he is not one to stay on the ground. So if Michael Chandler does take him down, I see him having to take him down and getting into like a full guard rather than taking him down and having Hooker put his hands on the mat like a tabletop and come back up, because he's going to do that all day.
Yeah.
And I've seen Hooker get up against the fence all the time.
So, it's definitely going to be a different kind of fight than we're used to seeing from Dan Hooker. I don't think it's going to be the wars we're used to seeing. Both guys, movement is a little... When they get into fights like that, they leave their chins open, that they can get cracked. And both guys have the power to end both guys' nights. I think it's going to be an interesting fight because Chandler's going to try and push him up against the fence. But an interesting thing that Dan Hooker said today during the press conference was that his style was built for defending against wrestlers and keeping it standing. And I think that's going to be the key to victory for him in this fight. Is he's really going to have to keep it standing, keep moving, keep throwing stuff at Chandler, and not let him dictate where this fight takes place.
Yeah, I think that Michael Chandler isn't the right body type to win this fight. It's the easiest way to say it. I think he's too short, and he's at the perfect height for that knee. And Dan Hooker likes to punch down, and I just think that Michael Chandler, if he doesn't hit a big shot, is not going to win this fight. I got Dan Hooker.
Yeah, Dan Hooker's volume is definitely going to come into play here. I'm also taking Hooker here. I think his volume is going to be the difference, and might even be a 15-minute decision. But if Chandler can say he can do what he said he was going to do and come into the UFC, even though it might be a couple years too late, if he's really that guy that he says he is, he's going to get it done. It's going to be a great fight to watch, but I'm also taking Hooker.
All right. All right, here we go. In the main event of the night, we got Dustin Poirier versus Conor the Notorious McGregor. The McGregor Show. You already know. If you don't know me yet, you're going to know that I'm a McGregor fan. So I'm going to let you start off with this. What do you think?
This is a long-awaited rematch, ladies and gentlemen. And I think it's going to play out a lot differently in the first fight. All right. Here are the keys to victory for Dustin Poirier. Conor McGregor likes to lead on his front foot. He puts a lot of weight on it. He throws all his combinations from it. He sets up his deadly left hand with all on his front foot. Dustin Poirier needs to take that away from him. He needs to start out early. He needs to evade strikes, not let McGregor dictate which way he moves. He needs to really crash into him and land those low calf kicks to really take something away from McGregor, because this guy has dangerous power in his hands, as we all know.
Do you think that Poirier is going to try to wrestle? Do you think he's going to put that in his game plan?
I think, if anything, that if we see any wrestling at it, I think it's going to be Conor taking the shots. Whether that's him dictating where the fight takes place or fighting out of exhaustion like we saw against Nate Diaz, I think Poirier is going to really try to keep it standing. I think he's going to try and take away some of these big weapons from Conor, and he's going to try and lay the pressure on him and wilt him like he did against Max Holloway.
Yeah, I think this is going to probably be the best Conor McGregor that we've ever seen.
It looks like it from what I've been seeing. The dude looks like he's in shape, and he's adapted well with this weight class.
He's got so many ways to win this fight, but the way it's going to be, if it's not going to the ground, he's just got way more weapons, I think, in striking. And Dustin Poirier is more of a close, in your face type of boxer. He likes that better.
He needs to manage that distance well because he can't let Conor pick his shots from the outside. That's where it all goes wrong.
Yeah, and I just don't think that he's going to be able to do that. I think McGregor's going to win it again here. I don't know if he's going to get the knockout. I can't see it going 5 rounds, but I'm going to have to take McGregor. I'm not going to say by finish, but I definitely think McGregor. And I don't think he's going to do the minute that he says. I think it's going to be a little bit longer. But what do you think?
I hope you're right. I'm not the biggest Conor McGregor fan. I'll say that right off the get. But he has shown that he's here to get the belt. So if he's really serious about that, then I can't pick against him in this fight. That's why I'm looking for all these ways for Dustin Poirier to win, because I do think that it's a big test ahead of him, and I think it might be too much.
So you're going McGregor as well?
I'm going McGregor as well.
All right, so we're both on McGregor. And if you didn't know and you're watching these videos, we have a Facebook page, Split Decisions, where we make our picks and post them on Friday night before the fights. So if we have any changes or edits to our picks from the videos here, which we usually do, you can see them on Friday night going into Saturday morning. Is that it?
That's it.
All right. Have a nice night.
Enjoy the fights.